Full precautions north of the lake, including pipes for a hard freeze. I'll have forecast lows coming up on both sides of the lake.
So it's like it was a double loss. They lost the game and then they lost their, personal items.
Plus, the high school football team loses more than a game after thieves steal pricey personal items from the players' locker room.
And another round for redevelopment of the World Trade Center. The Dream Team developers stepping up to the plate.
Live from the French Quarter, this is Eyewitness News at 6.
Foot traffic in the French Quarter is light as residents get ready to face another freezing forecast.
But it's those on the North Shore who may want to take some extra precautions. Good evening, I'm Natalie Shepard.
And I'm Ton Trung. Karen Swenson is off tonight. Right now, both sides of the lake are preparing for the coldest night of the season.
So let's get right to it. Carl, when do those freeze warnings go into effect?
They go into effect later on tonight, north of the lake about 9 o'clock, south of the lake about 11 o'clock. So overnight tonight, freeze warnings on both sides of the lake. Here are a few live temperatures with WeatherLink 4. In Mississippi, 43, feeling like 39 at Waveland. Slidell High School, 41, also feeling like 39. In Hammond, 43. Feeling like 39. St. Edward the Confessor School in Metairie, 46, 45 in Arabi, and Thibodaux Regional Medical Center at 43, feeling like 37. Other area temperatures look like this, and you can see north of the lake plenty of 40s to go around from Macomb, right at 40 to mid 40s in the Mississippi Gulf Coast, widespread 40s across our area. Hard freeze north of the lake, south of the lake a light freeze. Now Mississippi counties, you're not officially under any warnings, but you are going to have a freeze there, so you may want to prepare for some freezing temperatures. Right around freezing in the city of New Orleans. Looking north of the lake, you can see in the mid-20s from Waveland over towards Picayune, along I-12 and north into Macomb. Full precautions. Make sure all outside pipes are wrapped that are exposed, and you can see a light freeze away from the city as well. So cold temperatures on both sides of the lake. Coming up, not only one night, but 2 nights of cold temperatures. I'll let you know that coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Carl. And don't forget, you can check tonight's temperatures on the go with our mobile weather app. Just search Weathercaster in your app store and download it for free. And we have got some breaking news here. We're learning that hundreds of people are bracing for the cold without heat at the moment. According to Entergy's website, over 2,200 people have lost power around the City Park Lakeview area. The website doesn't give a reason for the outage, nor when power might be restored.
New at 6, a playoff game against the LaRondre Wolves isn't the only thing the Bogalusa High School football team lost Friday night. Authorities say thieves stole thousands of dollars worth of personal items from the visiting team's locker room. North Shore Bureau Chief Ashley Rodrigue has the story.
The Bogalusa community was over the moon to travel to LaRondre High School Friday night for the team's second year in a row to perform in the playoffs.
Those young men were so happy to get to the playoffs. It was a hard season, but they got there.
In the end, the Lumberjacks lost to the Wolves, but the away team got hit with a much more serious loss when they returned to their locker room.
And all of the boys' devices got those iPhones, iPads, and Beats headphones.
The Bogalusa players had their locker rooms set up here in LaRondre's gym. That's where at least a dozen players say they left thousands of dollars worth of electronics during the game.
I was hurt, for one. I know the kids were not happy as well. You know, you couldn't believe that someone would go that far to go in the locker room and steal from these kids. A room where they thought that their stuff was safe.
LaRondre High School officials reported the theft to the Tangipahoa Sheriff's Office that night, and the superintendent says he expects appropriate action to be taken by the district and law enforcement when the suspects are caught. Bogalusa school leaders say they've been pleased with the response, and parents are hopeful their students' belongings will be returned. But many say this unfortunate incident should be a lesson to all schools about security, even after hours. Ashley Rodrigue, Eyewitness News.
And if you have any tips on this theft, you can call Tangipahoa Crime Stoppers at 1-800-554-JAIL.
In an eyewitness update, the ATF is offering up to $2,500 for information in the firebomb attack against a local political consultant 2 weeks ago. The federal agency says it's hoping for an arrest in the arson which apparently targeted Mario Zervigon. His 2 cars were burned and the fire then spread to his home. 3 families were also forced out of their charred apartments. Send tips by calling the ATF at 504-841-7000. New delays tonight in the court case for 2 suspects accused of killing and dismembering Bourbon Street dancer Jaron Lockhart. Today, attorneys for Terry Speaks and Margaret Sanchez agreed to a January 12th court date to consider routine motions. That was the couple's original trial date. The two will be back in court on December 12th for a hearing regarding potential witnesses and evidence. The judge will decide on pre-motion rulings and whether evidence will be admissible or suppressed for trial.
New developments tonight in the quest to redevelop a shuttered New Orleans landmark. Paul Murphy reports on a dream team of local developers that are among the bidders seeking to lease the city-owned World Trade Center.
Another round of proposals are in to give the World Trade Center building in New Orleans a new lease on life. The iconic high-rise at the foot of Canal Street has been vacant since 2010. New Orleans developer Daryl Berger confirmed he submitted a bid. His partners include fellow local real estate moguls Joe Yeager and Roger Ogden. Dallas-based Gatehouse Capital is back with another proposal. Gatehouse was the winning bidder the last go-round, but negotiations broke down before a final deal could be reached. Another Texas partnership with strong financial backing from the Valencia Group, Monday Properties, and Woodbine Investments is also in the running. Specific details were not released, but visitors have their own ideas for the WTC.
A part as a hotel and have another part for entertainment.
It would be nice to have something that was, represented the city and all that is New Orleans that has such a rich history.
Good retail shops and a great restaurant.
The city asked bidders to come up with a plan to redevelop the existing building as a hotel, luxury residential, retail, or professional office space. The developer would lease the property for up to 99 years. The Bureau of Governmental Research says after 3 failed attempts to lease the building, the city should sell it.
We think that has a lot of advantages. It's a more transparent process. It minimizes the role of politics in it.
The city would like to have a signed lease in place by the first quarter of next year, with construction on the World Trade Center to begin shortly thereafter. Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.
The city is expected to release the full list of bidders along with their proposals on Wednesday. The local hospitality industry chose not to bid this time around.
My motive was to keep the football for my grandbaby. And then if I did hurt the lady, I didn't mean anything.
It was the catch that went viral. WWL-TV's Facebook page has blown up ever since cameras showed up a Saints fan taking a ball that a Bengals player was tossing to a Bengals fan at yesterday's game. 70-year-old Tony Williams, a former Zulu King, says his eyes were on the ball and he didn't see anyone in the aisle next to him until it was in the air. He says he didn't know the ball was intended for anyone. He says his family has been hurt by all the negative comments, but he insists that he loves the city and the Saints and has been a season ticket holder since the late 60s. It's a reality check Monday for the Saints. Beaten soundly by the Bengals yesterday, Sean Payton said today they'll look for different ways to get their team ready. Sports director Doug Mouton joins us with more. Hey, Doug.
Yeah, Tom, and Sean Payton didn't sugarcoat anything. As we told you at 5, he called his team flat, and he emphasized changing things up. The Saints have an extra day this week with a Monday nighter against a good Baltimore team looming. The Saints were especially bad on 3rd down defensively yesterday. They couldn't get off the field. Cincinnati 9 of 13 on 3rd downs, and that's 2 losses at home in a row.
You're always trying to pay attention to the work week, coming off of a tough loss versus San Francisco and avoiding any carryover effect. So, it's that energy required to play this game, that enthusiasm that's required, and that that there's going to be momentum shifts. But I felt like that was one area that which really forces, as a head coach, you to look closely at, hey, how do we keep that from happening, as you watch it.
Juan Kincaid will have a lot more from Metairie ahead in sports on the 6-week season ahead. We'll see you in 11 minutes, Ton.
Thanks, Doug. Terrible road conditions are common throughout New Orleans, but one section of Canal Street is like riding the old Zephyr roller coaster.
Tonight, how this dip has turned into a hazard for your car.
And the much anticipated reopening of Brendan's restaurant is coming soon, and it may change your dinner plans for the holidays.
And speaking of the holidays, they're already getting ready in Jackson Square. The first hints of Christmas in the French Quarter up next.